What's going on, everybody? Welcome to your weekend astrology forecast for the weekend of July 2nd and the 3rd of 2022. Astrologer Brian Scarborough here, Fixed Air Moon, keeping the collective fixed on astrology. I appreciate you all so much. I hope that you had a great week and are doing well coming into this weekend. Well, I'm pumped. We did just have my course, Beginner to Reader Astrology course. That was the first class on Friday, so wow. I'm pretty happy with it. I think the people in the class were happy. I saw some really good feedback from the class. Definitely saturated the planets for 3.5 hours. And there's still a lot. Gosh, there's so much. It's crazy how much is like I want to cover. And I'm like, do I actually have enough time? Maybe I'll add a class on to the end if not, but we'll see. But yeah, just a lot of saturation, especially in the beginning, the basics. They're very important. I even learned something, just looking at these planets, going through that class with the students in there. It was like, wow, like Mercury, like the evolution of Mercury, where like the pictures have, and like, whoa, the pictures now, like Mercury looks almost like Jupiter. Like like Jupiter's like an acid trip. And then now Mercury looks like that. It's like, that's our human mind right now. It's pretty insane. So I got some downloads from that. I'm learning, and I think everybody's learning. The basics are so important, and it's the simple things like looking at a planet or looking at the mythology or just going over these keywords and like building stories and thinking about how that applies to our life. That is how you give astrology life. So that's what this class is all about. Eventually, when all said and done, everybody in that class should be able to give life to any chart that they look at. All right. Well, I appreciate you all. Let's give this chart some life, shall we? Let's give this weekend some life. Got that sun in Cancer, finishing up at 10, coming to 11 degrees. I think it's definitely trying to manifest this, strong emotional pull towards something that's really a solid foundation in our life, and having us figure out what that sort of comfortable, inner workings would look like, even though we're going through this sort of big change, in a sense, with just physical life. Uranus North Node, they're going to get closer and closer this whole month, and they're going to meet at the end of the month, and Mars is going to be there. I think we can just all feel that there's change coming, and I think history proves that when you get Uranus at these later degrees of Taurus. We are looking back in history at 1939. There's a lot of change going on back then in the world. So starting to see, what that looks like here in our life, and how we can kind of go with the flow, but also, stay liberated in what the foundation of our values as an individual looks like. The moon here in Leo, oh boy. I just want to mention too, this moon in Leo sharing mutual reception with the sun. This is the only time of the year that we get the king and the queen in, each other's signs sharing this reception. But there's also the sun getting this mutual reception of exaltation with Jupiter in Aries. So, we look at the sun right now in Cancer, it's plus 10. I mean, these scores are just insane. And the moon's decently stressed this weekend, but it's holding up really well. So it's like, it's definitely, especially a Saturday, I would say, where you're really like having to fixate on the beautiful things and the happy things in your life. That moon is done with Venus. Venus is getting ready to sextile with Mars here soon. We got Mercury squaring off with Neptune today. So there's a lot of Gemini action with Mercury and Venus. And, I think Neptune's bringing a lot of, channeling and sensitive thoughts and creative visions. But we have to really, cut through the BS. We definitely don't want to not want to see the truth. Oh, I don't want to look at that. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Getting back to this heart space. And as the moon, trines over to Chiron in Aries, but really square these nodes and square Uranus. Very intense on making those changes in your personal life. But the changes you really want to fixate on and really learning to let go of the things that you don't want, that don't bring value to your life, that don't make you happy, that aren't giving you the love. It's definitely time to get back, I think, to the fact of the matter in your personal life and build stability around whatever that is. We are done with the Mars-Pluto square. Mars comes to 28 degrees, so that's breaking off. I mean, it was definitely a day where arguments could have come up, especially Friday, or we're still kind of seeing like where we've been at odds with, different people and their different identities and what people are trying to move forward with and what bigger, missions somebody wants to have and go after right now. But also, realizing our deeper conscious desires can match up with a deeper soul urge as well if we're seeing clearly. A lot of it comes back to seeing clearly in a very fated time with the moon square the nodes and square Uranus. Really, really trying to take that love energy of Leo and that courage and that creative self-expression within our emotional life and personal life, and how we can really liberate ourselves with the square from Uranus too, and go more towards this kind of unorthodox route in life. But it's a heavy day energetically, and I think it's very positive in a sense that we all get choices right now to live the life that we want to live. It's just if you want to liberate yourself from those things, or do you want to almost Mars square Pluto it and stay in conflicted situations and not transform your life for something that's more empowering on a personal level. It's just, you're definitely seeing where you can make changes and where you do have control and where you don't have control. And you're also, many of us, probably a lot of us are not seeing exactly what we want to see, or we're seeing what we want to see, but it's not what we're supposed to be seeing through that. So it's hard with Mercury square Neptune because we are a little lost in direction right now. It's hard to, it's like the compass is broken. We just have to surrender a little bit, but stay strong through that surrender and just say, yeah, I'm just going to stay present in my life for, the things that really do matter, and the things that don't matter, well, they don't matter. The moon will also sextile Mercury, so we'll feel better when we are actually experiencing the truth and making changes and pivots for a much more happy just day this Saturday. How can you make this day fun and exciting, and how can you see the truth of the matter and, actualize it and not, don't trick yourself. I think with such strong energy right now in the chart, you really don't want to do something this weekend that your heart isn't into, or feeling like you have to for some other reason, or, try to manipulate people into doing something. Definitely just kind of surrender, go with the flow, and see what, shows up in your life. Could be a very, synchronistic Saturday, I think. Sunday, the sun will be at 11 and coming to 12 degrees, and it's going to be kind of critical, but also expansive. There could be a lot of emotion felt and figuring a lot of things out. And I think we do, really start to analyze our reality a little bit better with the moon coming into Virgo. Of course, Saturday evening, it will oppose Saturn. I forgot to mention that. As it makes that, really nice sextile over to that Mercury. But, again, it's not about controlling situations around you. It's really about the purification in your life of what's expanding and getting critical and to the point in your personal life about what that is. I think Sunday can feel a little bit more grounded with the moon in Virgo, but it's going to, quincunx over to Jupiter, and it'll start making good aspects to the nodes. And by Monday, it will be squaring Venus and sextile the sun, though. We're starting to see where a lot of these personal life situations are going. And with Mercury done with the square to Neptune and with the moon in Mercury sign, I would say that we actually get some clarity on a lot of situations that we weren't getting on Saturday, where Saturday it's like, I'm just going to focus on things that light me up. Sunday's like, yeah, that lights you up. Now, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to clean this up? Are you going to put some effort in here? Are you going to change things for real? We kind of get to that point of like, all right, I'm actually going to expand and change things and, make sure I'm on the right story and I'm not, still living in some false identity belief. And Mars is going to come to 29 degrees, which is actually kind of a shit show because last time Mars was at 29 Aries because it retrograded at 28 Aries in 2020. And by the time it went direct and came back forward, it was January 6th, right before it came into Taurus. So this Mars is very stressed, even though it's in its home sign of Aries. There's a lot of definitely war energy. And, thinking about all the stuff in the world right now with Pluto finishing in Capricorn and Saturn in Aquarius, there's probably going to be some crazy news that shows up about January 6th and or something similar in the world going off, that gets people all, crazy. And I don't know. We're also, at this point where we really want to find courage and strength and push forward. We're very impulsive right now, but we're getting to a place where, it's going to be time to kind of slow down and make sure we have the values in order within ourselves and kind of smell the roses, not just be too impulsive, but actually be patient and kind of let, the chips fall as they may. But we still have that, Mars Pluto energy that's breaking apart. It just seems like we're pretty much all ready for something to happen, whether we go get it or it just shows up in the world. We can be like overly like impatient and like almost like force negativity in some ways into our life when we don't need to, because we're looking for this story change or this, switch up. But I don't know. I think we want to get very particular. I think Sunday's like, what's up? Where am I going? And I know it's a holiday weekend and the 4th of July is on Monday. And then, Mars is going to come into Taurus and Mercury's getting ready to come into Gemini, so there's a lot of energy that's on the cusp ready to change right now. So I think energetically in a lot of ways we can feel that. And, what are we sculpting right now? I think that's a good way to look at it. Like, are you sculpting really nice things? The moon will also start off the day with a trine to Mars before it leaves Leo. So, I would say Sunday's definitely got some pop to it, but it's like getting back to your personal life and reality before, maybe we get some real pop in the world, and not, getting too lost. But there is more clarity, and I think we can see the fine print on a lot of things in our life. And hopefully it's easy once we can see that to ignite the emotion within us to go where, anywhere that we're trying to really go in our lives and to not be afraid or hold some guilt if we let go. Oh gosh, the world will think this of me or people or society or, it's a very liberating time with Uranus North Node. Like you really want to go towards what your values are and hold strong in that energy and what isn't of that. Just bye. Venus, of course, in Gemini, like there's a lot of excitement that I think can be found within people and relationship energy right now. I think that that's one of like the highlights really, is the excitement of people that are bringing twin-like energy into your life. See what the cards have to say. Also, the first class is uploaded to my website in the school member area. So if you did miss the live and you want to watch the class, please do. It's ready for you. I did have to put it into 2 parts because the video was 3.5 hours long and my subscription only lets me upload a 3-hour video. But that subscription was expensive. It's kind of crazy what websites charge for like upload a video. Yeah. For $400 a year. We got the Nine of Coins in reverse. I think having to look at how we can manifest on our own is very important. Like, I think, people are important, but getting back to your value and how you can kind of really create that in your life will be pretty important. But you also, it's a fine line between like isolation and doing everything your own way and, over identification, but also really knowing what your value is and, actually laying the blueprint and the foundation and coming to that culmination of what that looks like. The Hermit, maybe having to, figure things out and get critical this weekend. Like, I think this is that, it does kind of come to that Sunday this weekend where it's like, wow, like I have a pretty good realization about what I want and what makes me happy. And I just got blasted with some heavy energy. Like, I need to like sit down and write this out or really just have a moment where I can find out how I'm gonna show my light in the future and how I'm gonna come out. Um, I don't know. I kind of feel like Sunday's like stay inside. I don't necessarily think that's true, but that kept like coming up. So I guess I'll just say it. Not what I want to do on Sunday, I'll be honest. And the Six of Wands. Victory. Victory card. I think that there's a lot of valor that can be had right now if you are finding what that deep-seated wisdom is and figuring out ways that you can create it in your own life and not feeling like something has to come up and do it for you or like you need necessarily something, but realizing that your creativity is just so powerful right now and it doesn't have to look like any sort of way. It's like really individuating into your own value is where the victory's at. And maybe it is a break from all the excitement that download can come through and kind of, give you some wisdom on the matter. Appreciate you all very much. That course is still going. It's only the first class. There's going to be 5 or 6 more. We'll see how it goes. But if you want to join, please do. It is on my website, fixedairmoon.com, and there's a link below. Hope you all have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July weekend. And I'll see you on the 4th of July for Monday's Horoscope. Have a great weekend. Much love. Peace.